Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at the bell work. Okay. So we have just got to do 1, 2, and 4. All right. Number 1, Amanda in the back. All right. Do I have an arithmetic sequence here? I have 7, 3, -1, -5. I do. Yes, I do. Okay. So I would say yes. Arithmetic. So if I do have that, that means I should also have a common difference. So what's my common difference? My D is -4. And it says find the next 3 terms. So what are those next 3 terms? And -17. Very good. All right. Oh, I put -17 there. Okay. So we're just subtracting by 4 every time. Okay. Number 2. Tommy, number 2. So first thing, do I have an arithmetic sequence? No. I do not. Do I have a sequence? Yeah. Because what's happening between those numbers on number 2? They're being multiplied by 2. Okay. However, that is not arithmetic. Okay. It has to be either adding or subtracting for it to be arithmetic. So our answer there, we would just say for 2, not arithmetic. All right. Number 4 says find the indicated term of the arithmetic sequence. Evan,
I have a question about 2.
Go ahead. Okay, 2.
I did like times 2.
Okay.
3 times 3.
I agree. So we do have a sequence. For it to be an arithmetic sequence, it has to be adding or subtracting because it's a common difference. All right. Okay. Number 4. Evan, I'm gonna pick on you anyhow.
Okay.
All right. Tell me, what is the formula I need to use on number 4?
AN equals
Hold on. A sub n equals
A sub 1
A sub 1
plus parentheses n minus 1 and a parentheses and then d.
and d. Okay, remember this is going to be multiplication.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they're kind of telling me that it is an arithmetic sequence. All right, so plugging things in here, the easiest thing to plug in is probably going to be d, which is what, Evan?
What? D?
D.
12.
Not d.
Is it 31?
This guy out here. That's my difference.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
-5. Okay. There we are.
Oh.
All right. What's my n? Shh. What's n minus 1 going to be?
31 minus 1.
31 minus 1. And then, what's my a sub 1? 12. Okay, my first term is 12. Okay. So if I put that in my calculator correctly, what do I end up with? What we get?
-138.
Negative 138. Okay, so my 31st term, or my a sub n, negative 138. Okay. All right. Take a look at your homework from last night. Let us know if you have any questions.
Hey, those first ones you didn't have to do. You only had to do starting at 16. That was from a previous class. And
Like that. No, actually, I'm playing tennis. Yeah, I'm good at tennis. I try, but I'm like 79.
JB? Okay.
Yeah.
A little bit better after we
Yeah.
Alright.
I just don't want to keep doing
Tell you what, though.
Well, that's nice.
Christian, here's your last Here's your first quiz. They just had 16.
That's 28 off of 40.
Geometric, right?
Yep, you got it.
I mean,
I'm working on this one, but I did this and I printed it.
Alright, I get that.
Am I getting full credit for this?
Yeah.
As long as I do them by Friday.
Yeah, because you were actually, this one did not do this.
Rachel, Sam, how we doing today?
Rachel rocked it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said something about wanting to be an athlete.
Understandable, math teacher.
Me and this gets I like it. You were like.
Could be your starting five.
Alright, hey, listen up here for a second. One more than a second. Alright, I don't know if you, and I forgot to kind of say much about it, but yesterday was actually section 4-6 that we did. And I'm not really sure exactly, well, I kind of understand why, but the placement, but it's easier for us if we do section 4-6 as basically part of chapter 11. Okay, so basically everything we've done will be part of chapter 11. We skipped chapter 10 That's a lot of statistics and probability. It's covered a little bit on the end of course test, but you've had some in the past and you're usually okay with it. So we got to hit some things that are a little bit more, you're a little bit less familiar with. So section 4.6 is really part of chapter 11 for us. So when you go to modules, or if you go to modules, everything will be under chapter 11. Now, I guess I know some of you said you couldn't turn it in. I'll fix that today, so I'll publish it so that you can turn everything in. But the first part here, yesterday, arithmetic sequences, a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. You're going to need to know it. They're not going to give you that equation on here. And then there's going to be one for geometric as well as we move forward. Arithmetic is you just add to get the next term. Geometric is a little bit different because you multiply to get the next term. So here's just an example of a geometric sequence, okay? 3, 6, 12, 24, 48. Is that the one you already have on there? Okay. For arithmetic, we talked about the common difference, which is whatever you add or subtract to get the next term. We talked about a common ratio, which we'll call R. Well, what are you multiplying by to get the next number here? 2. So I'm just going to say R equals 2. So put that like just right below there or right beside that. R equals 2. All right, copy down that next one because I know that one's not written out for you. So copy that on your notes for number 2. And while you're doing that, I will record because I didn't record yet. You did?
Yes.
Dang, that's teamwork. Teamwork. Connor.
Did you hand these out a minute ago?
Yeah.
Did I get one?
No.
No.
Come on.
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Good.
Preston.
Preston. Preston.
Preston.
Oh, what time is it? Like 4
Made a mess.
No.
Oh, was that your mess?
Okay.
All right, R equals 4 for that one.
Oh, man.
Copy down the next one. So you got 1250, 1,000, 800, 640, 512.
800. 512.
Okay, now this one's not as obvious. You might be looking at that and saying, I'm not sure, I don't believe you, Mr. D-Lab.
Subtracting a fifth.
A fifth?
Yeah.
Okay,
Love it.
a fifth of the current number, agree?
Okay.
But we gotta figure out what we're multiplying by,
7.
okay?
Multiplying by 4/5.
Okay, he says multiplying by 4/5,
0.8.
which is 0.8, that's good.
Really?
Well, here, how do you check it? I don't have my calculator. I have to get my
Here.
Take 1250 times 0.8. Let me,
Yeah, it's like it. Looking out for himself.
I already did it.
Jordan, how did you do that? How did you do that?
Because he's smart like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I looked it up.
1250 times 0.8. Hey, listen. Times 0.8. 800 times 0.8. 640. So clearly it works. Times 0.8. Well, I didn't hit times. Okay, so R equals 0.8. Now, a couple of you said, how do you do that? Now, how do we do that if you can't figure it out? Because it's not obvious. Okay, I wouldn't expect everybody to look at it.
How did Jordan get it though? Jordan.
Hey, maybe he's a secret math wizard. You just don't know about it. Okay. Here's how you test it. Like for the first one, you're multiplying by 2. That's pretty easy. To see if something's geometric, you take a term and divide it by the previous term to see what you get. So 512 divided by 640 is 0.8. 640 divided by 800 is 0.8. Okay, so if you don't know, that's how you test it. You just divide a term by the previous term. If you get the same number, it tells you it's geometric. If you end up getting different numbers, then it's may not be a geometric sequence.
What do you
Okay.
write it's not?
You just say not geometric.
Called the.
Okay. All right, so that next thing on your guided notes, I think you need to fill in one of these. In a geometric sequence, the ratio of successive terms is the same number R as a common ratio. Because basically you are dividing a term by the previous term. If you get that same number, that's the number you multiply. Number one is a lot easier to see because 48 divided by 24 is 2. 24 divided by 12 is 2. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So you just kind of do that mentally. Okay? And so put down in that line, it's called the common ratio. And you label it R. You label it R. All right, now I was telling you those were geometric. Okay, I told you that. Now, it says find the next three terms in geometric sequence. You might be able to just look at it and figure out what your R value is. Well, what are we multiplying by to get the next term? George? 4. You're multiplying by 4. So start with 64. List the next three terms just by multiplying 64 times 4. Take that answer times 4. Take that answer times 4. All right, so go ahead and do that. Zane, take your calculator, multiply 64 times 4.
Got it.
What do you get?
That's 256.
Okay, take that and multiply it by 4.
Oh, okay. That's 1,024.
And then multiply that by 4.
So, oh wait, no, plus. That's 4,096.
4,096. Okay, so those are your next three terms. So you find what your R value is, find the next three terms. All right, -9, -3, -1, 1/3, -1/9. Okay, what are we multiplying by in this case here? Not 3.
1/3.
1/3, really close. There's one thing you're missing. -1/3. If your terms alternate, that means you got to be multiplying by a negative. All right, now we got to get the next three terms. If they're listed as a fraction, your next three terms need to be a fraction. Okay, don't give me a decimal. So your calculators can multiply with fractions. So you want to take -1/9 times -1/3. Remember, for fractions, you just multiply straight across. Jordan, what do we get?
127.
Positive 127. So that'll be the next number. 127. Take 127 times -1/3. Okay, so positive times a negative is a negative. And you're just multiplying on the top. It's just going to be 1 times 1. So it's going to be -1. And take 27 times 3. That's going to be 81. So it's -1/81. And then the last one, multiply the same thing by -1/3. -1/81 times -1/3. And that gives me 1/, I believe, 243.
Yes.
Positive 1/243. So you need to look for that if it alternates in sign. If it alternates in sign, that means your R value has to be negative. And that's all this says here. When the terms in geometric sequence alternate between positive and negative, the value of R is negative. Okay, now you don't need to necessarily write that down.
This next one.
All right, you come up with the next three terms. List the art, just write them down for now. I'll go in a minute here. List those terms out, come up with the next three.
I'm sorry. I've been paying attention.
Let's go.
Will be 8.
Yes, it is. My brain's massive.
Yeah, baby.
Your brain is.
All right, Morgan, what are my next 3 terms gonna be? Wait, hold on, shh, be quiet. 80? Okay. 320, that's correct. Our R is -2. Okay, so you can alternate between positive and negative. Christian,
I use calculus, please.
can you use a calculator?
Yeah. Because in the new one yet. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Christian.
Thank you, Morgan.
All right, now this one is not obvious. This one's not as obvious. So you have to test it. So you got 512, you got 384, you got 288. So more than likely, you're gonna have to test it. Same what do you got?
0.75.
All right, she says 0.75. Now, how do you test it? Take 288 divided by 384. Whoops.
8.47.
Okay, you get 0.75. And you take 384 divided by 512. And we get 0.75. So that lets me know that's our R value. So now to go the other way, take 288.
Right?
Yep. And we get 216. That'll be your next term. Take 216 times 0.75.
162.
Yeah, Christian.
Thank you, go.
121.5. They don't all have to be nice numbers. Okay, they don't all have to be nice numbers. So in that case here, we get 121.5. R is 0.75. Now we also, like with arithmetic, you want to find like the 40th term, or you want to find the 15th term, or you want to find the 80th term, but you don't want to list them all out. So we need to come up with a pattern or a rule for that. And this is kind of how the rules develop. So if you multiply all of these by 2, take a look at what happens here. Okay. If this is 3, the next one is 6, you multiply it by 2. 3 times 2 squared gives me 12. 3 times 2 cubed gives me 24. Whatever your common ratio is, basically, you're going to take that to a power to get the term. And the power you're going to take it to is the n minus 1. All right, so now this is going to lead to this formula. That is what goes, let me see your notes. See where it says a sub n? A sub n equals, and this is it right here, a sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1.
Yeah, it's on the board.
Okay? So put that right there.
Jordan.
What do I do?
What? You don't need to state the.
You don't need to convert.
My age is
Yo.
Somebody else got a comment. What?
It is so good.
No, I said this is just a multiplication symbol.
Does that say N? Yes.
Nth term.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so on the bottom there. The first term of the geometric sequence is 500. The common ratio. The common ratio is 0.2. If it doesn't give you too big of a number, you can multiply it out. Like if you're on a state test and you don't remember the formula and you can multiply it out, that's absolutely fine. If you remember the case, you're gonna be fine here. So the formula is a sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. N is the seventh term, so n is 7, r is 0.2, that's your common ratio. So to use the formula, you got a sub 7 equals the first term, which is 500, times 0.2 to the 7 minus 1 power. So it's always going to be 1 less than. So now I would just make that a 6. So it'd be 500 times 0.2 to the 6th power. All right, use your calculator. Now, it might give you a decimal we have to round off, but that's okay. But see what you get.
It's over.
How are we supposed to move it?
All right, Josh, you got the answer?
What was you gonna say?
Hold on, I got it.
All right, let's see what you got.
Wait, I got it.
I'll pick up your shit.
Is it 20?
I don't know. Is it?
Wait, no. I scored it by 2. My bad. Hold on.
You can only square things by 2, Josh. Excuse me.
That was a table. It's 0.032.
There we go.
Let's go.
Oh, there's Grant.
Look at Gort, man.
Yo, Gort showed up.
Hey, Grant. You like
Gort.
to hear about Trump? Actually didn't.
All right, so you should get 0.032. All right, now flip it over on the back.
What is that? What's up here?
Yeah.
Let's go to the field. Good.
Hey, Grant. I had my homework.
Oh, get it, so you can pull it out.
I couldn't turn it in last night.
No, nobody could. That was my fault. So go ahead and pull it out.
I hope I did it right.
You better take the wrong side.
What are we doing?
Hey, we gotta get through a couple of things here. You need to be quiet so I can get through this. Unless I call on you, zip it. So for this one here, your geometric sequence, I give you the first term, I give you the R, and I tell you what you need to ask. So that means N equals 6. We know the R value, so A sub N equals A sub 1 times R to the N minus 1, which means the 6th term is going to be 5 times 2, and then 6 minus 1 will give me that 5. Okay, I'm just going to do that there. I'm not going to write 6 minus 1. All right, use your calculator. This will be a bigger number. Rachel, let me know what you get. You got 160? Okay, that sounds right. Christian.
So when we're solving this, like, how do we put the exponent 6 minus 1?
What's 6 minus 1?
5.
Just use a 5.
Okay, and then we just like How do we put that in a calculator?
Okay,
Carrot button.
5 times 2. Now you should have a button in a different spot. It's called the caret button. Looks like that.
Okay, that makes sense. I got it.
Good job, man. I honestly, for that one, I don't know if I did.
All right, so take a look at this next one. What is the ninth term of the geometric sequence? R. Joe, what do you guys think?
He's explaining.
All right, well, you're distracting everybody else right now. Okay, what is the ninth term of the geometric sequence? You got 2, -6, 18, -54. All right, you gotta take a look at what you're multiplying by. You're multiplying by -3. Since we want the ninth term, that means n equals 9. Now, you could list them all out. That would be fine, but this is a little bit quicker. So a sub 9 is the first term, which is 2. Don't forget about your first term is 2 times. You have to put -3 in parentheses. And then this is going to be 9 minus 1, which of course is going to be 8. So you got 2 times -3 to the 8th power. Now watch how you enter that, like I said, because if you don't use parentheses, it's going to end up giving you the wrong sign or the wrong answer. Okay?
So you got the same answer.
Okay. Multiply that through. When you get an answer, Jalen, let me know what it is.
13,000. That's a big number. Dang, I got a big number. I don't even know if this is done.
What do you got, Jalen? What's your calculator say?
I just have.
Oh, we got, all right, you gotta be able to type it in. So type it in as 2 times. Put parentheses around -3. Use the caret key
Oh, that's
to the 8th power. You got that in there?
yeah, it's
What's it say?
13,122.
That's correct. All right, 13,122. All right, now we're getting here late here, so page 769. 8 to 30 even. Well, you can watch the video. That's one thing you can do. Best I got for you. Or you got study hall?
I do, yes.
What period? Very closer. All right, I got your homework down.
No, quiz.